So welcome today to Business Brand Breakthrough. My name is Dawn Larson, if we haven't met before. And today we're going to talk about a topic that lights me up but pains me as well. I'm walking through a grocery store the other day and I come across this. And you'll see it's a printed advertisement. And you'll see through the thickness of it that it's almost 14 or 15 pages long of people who bought print advertising. And it's so unfortunate. It hurts my heart to know that all of these business owners and solopreneurs and some big companies in this print media spent a lot of money putting print ads out. Now, I watched for a good 20 minutes to half an hour as people walk by this print advertising that's on a rack in the corner of a grocery store, and no one picked one up. I did, so that we could use it in today's instruction. So today's topic, we're going to talk about why digital advertising is so much more important to grow your profile, leads, and sales as a business than print advertising. All this is good for right now in this economy with us using smartphones is really for garbage. It's just not an effective strategy, and I'm going to prove to you today all the reasons why. So I want to shout out to Brenda and Paul and David and Fred. Welcome to the show today. I'm glad you could make it all the way from the East Coast. Okay, so today, if you're just getting in, I want to talk about why online advertising is so important versus print advertising. And if you're just getting on the broadcast now live, feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. And if you're here on the replay, please leave your questions and comments below as I come back in after every broadcast and answer those questions. So today, online advertising, why is it more important than print advertising? And you know, when I'm looking at these print, I actually called to find out some of the prices. And you know, it's amazing how much, you know, they start at $150 and they go to $1,400 for a print for one day in a print news media, and you don't know who saw this ad and you have no way of tracking how successful it is. And it's crazy. It's crazy how, you know, we are still, as business owners, using forms of advertising that we can't track, that we can't measure how many people have come to our business as a result of putting or investing into those ads. So today I'm going to give you 9 reasons that digital advertising should be an important part of your advertising mix. So just in the comments below, can anyone kind of indicate, you know, what business you're in, and if you do some digital advertising, that's Google ads, mobile ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. So just comment below so that I can kind of get an understanding of who, you know, who we're have online. So, you know, one of the big reasons that digital advertising, now we all see it while we're on our PC computers or on our mobile devices, it's the ads that pop up. And some may say that it's, you know, irritating and aggravating, but advertising has been around for a long time, and it really supports businesses growing their leads and sales and supporting, you know, the economy. And, you know, in the olden days, just 5 years ago, we used to watch ads on TV, and that was our only way. And again, we had no real measurement. We just, you know, through estimations found out how many people were actually watching TV, but we didn't have any tracking on the effectiveness or the impact of our ads. Now, digital advertising has disrupted the marketplace and really showed that we can track everything that our people who are watching our ads are doing. And so it's very powerful. So one of the major benefits of online digital advertising, be it display, which is like an ad visual, or video ads, or mobile ads that only show up on your mobile phone. And then the other one is search word ads, which are keywords when you're actually searching for something on the search engines, and you know, ads come up that are word ads. All of these are incredible ways to, you know, connect with your customers. But digital ads give you the ability to get insights. I can tell from the ads that we place for our customers. I can tell what cities they're from, what economic background they're from, how long they stayed on the ad if it was a video, if they click through to the website, what page they clicked through to the website, how long they stayed on the website as a result of coming, and if they actually made a purchase as a result of that ad. All of those pieces of information can be acquired just from a simple ad placement. You don't get that in a print ad. You have no idea unless you implement a whole bunch of marketing strategies inside that ad, meaning that you're asking for customer codes and things like that. But I can tell you that digital ads hands down give you so much information about who your customer is, what devices they're coming on. We have one customer that, he told me when he came on as a client, most of my clients come to us on iPads. And I'm like, that's, interesting, given that the cross-section of, the customers we serve usually are mobile devices. But sure enough, you can see that through all of our ads. It helps us target our message. It helps us design our ads. It's invaluable. Print ads, radio ads, TV ads cannot tell you that. So that's one of the powerful things of digital advertising. The other is targeting. Now, more than ever, we can target specific audiences. It doesn't matter if you're a car dealership or you're a fashion store, or if you're an HVAC dealer, or if you're an industrial commercial mining company or a construction company. We can target as granular as I can, geofence around a store like Costco and target all Costco shoppers, or I can target different mining locations in Chile, in a geographical area, or just by their mailing addresses. I can geofence a certain sort of neighborhood inside a city that maybe is a certain demographic. So if I'm working with the car dealerships and it's subprime, I'm focusing on this area of town. And if I'm looking for the people in a certain area of town that are going to buy cars for their kids, I'm focusing this type of advertising there. So I can target both geographically by age. I can actually target now with digital advertising based on your website searches. So if you are typing in keywords, our ads for our customers show up because of the SEO, search engine optimization in those keywords. If your behavior is you're starting to search for a certain, dehumidifier online, my clients that we've placed ads for, their dehumidifiers will start to come up visually, their ads come up in front of your search, because we are able to target that granular. Say that you're looking at people who are really into self-development or very proactive about their health. You can target them based on their interests and their preferences. Everybody who follows, a yoga TV show online but is in their Facebook group, you can target your ads to them. And so it's incredible what you can do with targeting with digital advertising. The other great part about that is that you can change up the type of advertising you do. When you give your print ad to the printers, to the newspaper, or to, periodicals like this, what you're doing is you're giving one ad. Most times you've created it on the fly, in the rush, or a salesperson who isn't a person who is an ad copy specialist creates it for you. And so they create this one ad, you have one design, and that gets put out, and it's seen, and that's it. You have that one chance. With digital advertising, you have the ability to design 5 or 10, 15 different versions of that ad. So when we're targeting homeowners, we're targeting this ad to go with a couple in front of a home or engaged in their home. When we're targeting singles that are under 35, we have the same type of ad but with different imagery, maybe a different message. And we can quickly see which targeting ads are working better. So with print, you do not have that ability, and it's a very powerful tool. The other thing, again, as we're saying, is now voice search is so big that now you can target your ads based on what people are searching on voice on search engines. So you may have seen it. You're talking about Advil with your spouse, and all of a sudden you start to see ads about Tylenol and Advil coming up on your mobile phone. That is not haphazard. That is not by coincidence. That is because we are targeting you. So that is not by coincidence. We are targeting you with digital advertising based on your voice conversations when you're talking with your Siri or Alexa. So it's really powerful. Now, the third benefit that digital advertising has is the creative, and I spoke to that just a while ago. I can customize different ads based on the target audiences that we are working with. So for example, right now we're selling, many things, hearing aids for one client and gas pumps for another client. And so we can target our audience, based on what their interests are, where they are, and how they interact on the internet. And it's a very powerful option. So I can have creative, that's a static ad, meaning it's just one visual. I can have an ad that's animated, meaning that it has multiple moving parts. I can actually use a video, and we can use those in different areas on the internet, and we can measure very quickly which ones are the most engaging and getting the most action. And again, with our insights, we know very quickly which are the high performing and the low performing ads. The high performing meaning that they're getting more people to your website, or getting more people to buy, or getting more people engaged, whatever the priority is of that ad. And then the lower or underperforming ads are just eliminated, and very quickly. So different than print, because this is out and it's out and it's out forever, and you have no way of determining if, a little tweak here, a little tweak there would have made a difference. And that's really important. Now, brand awareness. If truly the people who are spending hundreds of dollars in print advertising are looking to expose their brand, their company, and get more profile in their community or in a geographical area, digital advertising is the best solution. And here's why. Because there's more impressions, and it's not guesstimate. Print advertising can only say, well, we printed 5,000 and we only took back 1,000, so we think 4,000 were taken. Watch your behavior when you get print material, where it lands on your table at home, and how many pages you actually look at it. I really feel bad for the people in this periodical who advertised on page 3 and further, because I found myself, totally overwhelmed with 3 pages or 4 pages of ads. I didn't even make it to the end of that print media. But with online advertising, your ad shows up in front of your target audience, and it's there for 3 to 7 seconds while they're going through their mobile or their computer, and you have their attention. And if it's designed like a great ad should be, it will capture their attention and motivate them to take action and to click. So brand awareness is best and most possible with the highest amount of volume of people on digital advertising. And videos can have 20,000 views for only a matter of $100. So some advertisers pay $350 for a small ad in this print advertising. For $350, you could put a video on Facebook and get 10,000 views of your video. So you get so much more exposure than competing with here. I counted in the first 5 pages, I think there was about 50 ads. So it was crazy, the ads that you're competing with. And again, that's my microphone just fell off. So that's crazy when you're trying to get somebody's attention. Digital advertising offers flexibility. This is the great part. Again, I can have different types of ads. I can do video on Facebook. I can do static in Google Ads. And on mobile, I can do animated ads that are moving. And again, with mobile, your ads are much smaller. So you want to have elements, moving elements in your advertising so that you're capturing people's attention. So really, really important. Scaling. So our clients this week, we know we're going into the May long weekend. It's one of the bigger weekends where people will be on their social media, especially the forecast is that the weather might not be nice. So as advertisers, we are looking at that across different markets. And for the most part, we're looking at it that's a long weekend. And we know that we have people's attention for 3 days while they're at camp or while they're at home. And so it's a great opportunity for us to get our customer ads in front of people. So we actually can scale our ads. We can increase the ad spend over the long weekend and maybe reduce it on a Tuesday, Wednesday when people are coming back to work. So we have the ability to, double up our advertising frequency or to target an audience more at different times. And so you can't do that with print, or you can't do that with radio or TV. And so it's very, very powerful when you know that you've got that scalability. So this weekend, a lot of our clients have added extra money or extra investment into their advertising, knowing that this is a great weekend, that there will be, some product buys and people looking for different things and searching online, and we want to be in front of them. So it's really powerful. So again, one of the other great things about digital advertising versus print, radio, and TV is the cost. It is so much more cost effective. Yes, if you're buying advertising, you're usually paying a marketing agency or a digital marketing person. And I really recommend that you find a qualified digital advertising agency or digital advertising specialist. I get really frustrated when sometimes radio and TV and newspapers now are doing digital advertising, but they can't do all they can't drop the codes on your website so that we can track who came to your website properly. They can't put different coding so that once somebody comes to a product page, that then we can remarket to them. So they can't do all of those important things. So sure, they can buy some mobile ads for you or some digital ads, but I'm going to talk about the important part, the back end of the advertising that's missing. And so anyway, with cost, digital advertising, for the amount of people that get to see the impressions of your ad, are much more cost effective than any other advertising medium. But here's the thing I always get my clients to think about: the cost to acquire a paying client and the cost to generate a lead. And a lead is getting somebody back to the website, to either our web pages or our product pages. And a customer is when they actually make a buy. Now, I can tell you that the average cost per lead and the cost per customer is so much less and easy to track with digital advertising versus other mediums. It's very easy because we know that 3,000 people came to the website from this one ad, and out of that 3,000 people saw the ad. So 3,000 people saw the ad, and out of that 66 people were directed or went to the website. And out of the 66 people, 13 bought. 13 made a purchase, or 13 people contacted. You have those numbers, and you can tell what the cost to acquire a lead or the cost to acquire a customer is. And those are important numbers when you are investing in advertising these days. And a digital advertising platform can give you those numbers. Other media can't really do that. The other real big bonus is engagement with ads. When we put out ads for our customers, we see that there's people commenting, liking, and sharing, and engaging, sometimes asking questions. And the great part is that we can answer those questions for people in real time, and or it directs them to the website if they have questions. Very powerful way of getting people to share a message. And again, if you have some really good advertising, then people will engage with it, and you can encourage engagement by looking or by writing in the word section and really of your ad and really asking them to engage. So really important there. And 9, the most important thing about digital advertising is the reach. This is the important part. I've talked about that we could advertise in Chile, we could advertise in BC, we can advertise in a certain part of the city. We can actually geofence your competitors. So with the car dealerships we work with, we geofence, we geoconquest, we fence with GIS the areas around their competitors. And when you go into a competitor dealership, actually an ad will be served to you that says, from our customers, that says, we want you to be our customer, or we want to be your dealer, and we're willing to prove it to you, and here's an extra $500 off any offer that you get at this dealership. And we also can prove through the advertising we do that out of that ad that those people did go back to that advertising dealership. So that's powerful. That is powerful. Digital advertising does so much more than print advertising, and it is cost effective. So your reach is incredible. And the great part is that you can day part, meaning that you can take digital ads and you can only target a certain time of the day. Try doing that with radio. As soon as you say, I don't want to advertise at 12 in the morning, they say, well, your ads go up by $25 an ad. That doesn't happen in digital advertising. You only want to advertise to customers at this time to this time. That is awesome. We can do that. If you know, a particular day of the year, you know that people are going to be totally like Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, you may not want to put ads out or something, you know, but we can accommodate that in digital advertising, which is so powerful. So those are the 9 main reasons that digital advertising is so powerful. And I just want to go over them again. So it's insight, targeting, the creativity that you have with the, you know, variety and what you can make with the creative, brand awareness, flexibility, the ability to scale your ads and either add more investment to it or scale back and do less. The cost, much less cost than other advertising mediums. The engagement is so powerful, and the reach. So one of the things I want to tell you about is you'll get a lot of people coming to you that want to sell you digital advertising. And here's the really important part. You want to go with a qualified Google advertising expert. You want somebody that knows how to do advertising and has proven results, because it's really important. There's a lot of people that will tell you they can do it. When your salesperson says, well, you know, I don't know anything about it, but you know, our team in the back do, that's not good. You need to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. So that's really important. But here's the thing. You know, a lot of customers come to us and we said, we did digital advertising with a radio station, or we did it with some, you know, newspapers, and it didn't work. Well, here's why it didn't work. Because they can buy and create an ad for you, but that's not their specialty. Their specialty was, you know, what they were in the industry for, but now they're branching out. But here's the thing, is for us, for our customers, we add custom coding in the back of their website, and we know what pages need this coding. So on all of your product pages, we add specific coding so that we can tell when somebody comes in from an ad and they go to your product page. So say you are a camping supply company, and somebody comes in and they go to the barbecues. So we know that they went to the barbecues. The coding that we've dropped on can tell where they left the website, because only 2% of the people that come to your website at any time come and make a purchase. So that means that we have to remarket to these people at least 5 or 6 times before that we can convert them into a customer. That's been, you know, standard in the industry. So we remarket to them by having that coding on specific pages and specific areas of your website that only a marketing agency or a digital specialist can do. Then when they leave your website, they will begin to see your remarketing ads. Ads that we've created, they're slightly different than the ad they saw that got them to the website. It's a different ad. So if they watched a video on your website, or if they clicked on a product, the ad that they get remarketed will be different, but the ad will acknowledge that they've been to your site, and it will give them a different sales message to convert them to come back to your website for a sale. So you've probably seen this. You went to you know, either a clothing retailer online or a car dealership online, and all of a sudden their ad begins to follow you while you're going in different areas of different internet sites. And that's why, because they've used a specialist who has added coding to different pages. And it's really important too. We have different ads. So say somebody went to your product page, but they put some products in cart, but they abandoned cart. And people who put, you know, products in cart, there's like a 75% abandon rate. So again, remarketing is very important. We can get almost 80% of those people back to the website within 5 you know, hits of an ad to get them back to buy that product, but we've got to remarket to them. So now they've come to that page, and but they abandoned cart. So we have a different conversation for them in that ad to get them back to the website. And so those are the key things that digital advertising can do. We can, you know, when we use digital advertising, for agencies or for businesses. We can target ages and economic and geographic areas and competitors. We can target even events. So with all my mining companies that we deal with worldwide, when there's a mining trade show and it's beyond either their budget or they just don't have the time to get to this mining show, we can, geofence that whole mining show and all the hotels around and still get their marketing message out. Drives them to a landing page that has a video sales letter on there that does the same thing as being at the trade show. But the best part is that we can track, how many people have come as a result of that ad and that, strategy. So, digital advertising is very powerful. So if you have any questions about digital advertising, please leave them in the comments below and give me the industry you're in and I can give you some recommendations, because there's different types of advertising platforms and they benefit different types of businesses. So for example, with say an industrial commercial company that sells international, we would focus them with Google advertising, both display and video, and mobile advertising using geofencing. If you were a local retailer selling clothing, we would use different platforms. We would use Facebook advertising mobile and Instagram advertising mobile, and we would use mobile advertising as well. And so we would have different types of ads based on the different demographics that your business serves. So a car dealership, we use all forms of advertising, and at different times of the year, different platforms more than others. But you can see that though that digital mix, if you have a marketing budget, using that digital advertising to maximize your profile, your leads, and your sales will make all the difference. So I hope you enjoyed today. I hope that made some difference. If you had some aha moments about digital advertising, maybe something you didn't know about digital advertising, let me know in the comments below. I love to read these after the video launches. So again, I'm Dawn Larson from Business Brand Breakthrough, and if you liked what you saw, I hope that you'll come back next Friday at 12 Eastern. We go live every Friday, 12 Eastern. And again, if you have any questions for future videos, please let me know and we can take care of that for you. Have a great day and a great long weekend, and I hope you've got some digital advertising working for you this long weekend. Take care.